timer starts at 7:30.
Oh, good. So.
Elke, thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you for your keynote today.
Well, many thanks for the invitation. It was great to be at this inspiring conference.
At these conferences, I always ask 5 questions. So, what are your thoughts on eDemocracy and open government in a nutshell?
Right. So, well, basically, eDemocracy, in my view, it's about enabling and encourage citizens to put citizen voice and citizen action into practice in order to improve public value. And with public value, I mean improving public services, but also improving public outcomes, and of course making sure that this is done in a way so that it respects good governance principles.
What does open mean to you?
Well, I think open is mainly about achieving 2 issues. One is better transparency, and we heard today at the conference this doesn't just mean more information, but also better information, and information which is relevant to a specific target group. But it's also about better access to information, and I think we've made progress in both respects, but I think the conference showed today that a lot more work needs to be done.
Could you name a good practice in eDemocracy or open government?
Well, again, at the conference we heard some good practices, and on our Governance International website we've got a case study hub with about 80 case studies on good practice in public management and public governance, and a number of them are related to eDemocracy. But I think in general, I always, at conferences or workshops, I like to ask participants if they have a website, and of course, most representatives of public service organizations say yes, so all hands go up. But then my second question is always, so how many of you have designed the website together with the users who are supposed to read the website? I've been asking that question for about 10 years, and even today, if I'm lucky, at most 1 or 2 hands go up. So I think one good practice would be co-designing communication together with a user group. And we've got one case study from the local authority of Stockport, which is close to Manchester, where the Department of Social Care has invited social care users, so actually, typically more rather disadvantaged groups, to co-design the website together, which has improved results, meant less calls to the call centers, so staff now have more time to focus on service users which may have no access to the internet or have some complex cases. And another example I always like to highlight is the website for young people in Modena in Italy, which is not just famous for balsamico winning, but now also for this website, because again what makes it special is that it was actually co-designed with young people, but young people are still involved as part of the editorial team.
Okay.
And that makes this website special. It's written in the website in the language of young people.
Yeah.
And of course now they have moved on to social media. Now they manage a Facebook group together. But I think if we use the resources of both service users, local communities, and people working public services, we can achieve much better results.
What about a bad practice in eDemocracy and open government?
Well, I think one key challenge still today is that in many public sector organizations, actually staff are not even allowed to use social media, even though they would like to. And the communication department is monopolizing the use of social media, which I think is against the spirit of social media. Obviously everybody should communicate, and I think the challenge for many communication departments is actually to change their role, not to be the sole spokesperson anymore, but actually focus resources on training staff how to use social media properly, design a code of conduct so that this is done in a proper way, monitoring it. And the good news is what I do observe is that a number of police forces have now become excellent in, also enabling staff, police officers at all levels in the hierarchy to make use of social media. So there is hope.
So what will we be discussing at this conference in 2028, so in 10 years' time?
Right. Well, hopefully, I think in 10 years' time we'll be laughing about the mistakes we've made today. But I do hope that in 10 years' time, organizations will have embedded more double loop learning, because this is, I know it's an old concept from the 70s, but I see very few public sector organizations which actually, have embedded these principles and do learn from mistakes to devise better systems and better processes. So I think this is the key challenge for the future.
Thank you very much for answering my questions.
Well, thanks for the interview.